In the heart of Ghana's central region lies Elmina, a town of history, of fishing, of community. A place where the tide brings more than waves. It brings plastic, with plastic bottles being no exception. Behind the lens is Joseph Amino, a storyteller and a social innovator. Amino believes in the power of seeing, the power of understanding how small actions, small waste, tie into big human stories. This is the journey into Buy Food with Plastic, a project born from a question. What if plastic could feed people, not pollute them? Through his lens as a director and a writer, Joseph uses film as a medium to connect purpose with perspective, bringing to light stories of change, resilience, and innovation. His craft goes beyond storytelling. It becomes a tool for transformation. In this documentary, he turns the camera toward a movement, one that transforms plastic waste into a force for community, sustainability, and hope. Through Buy Food with Plastic, he captures how waste management and creativity intersect, reminding us that change begins with awareness, and awareness begins with story. Across Ghana, the vision takes shape, a simple yet powerful model where plastic becomes currency and food becomes dignity. Here in Elmina, you witness how plastic is collected and exchanged for meals. And behind every meal, there's a team, local and global, working hand in hand to turn pollution into purpose. Through their words, you hear stories of impact, how communities are learning and adapting.
Mede plastic be ugufi obepen tonton wasan so wa yiwura anta mede be no mede be so menye de banka kam de kama maframa be san so menye jesi mede ukufie.
Amino's interview with two of the co-founders reveal not just the process, but the people, including volunteers, leaders, and community members whose everyday actions are redefining what sustainability looks like in Africa.
My name is George Kwame Kwanzaa, born and raised in Elmina. I am the founder and country manager of Buy Food with Plastic Ghana. What excites me about my role as a manager is the joy that I see in our beneficiaries and how they've accepted the project. Our goal for the next 5 years is to recycle over 110 million plastic bottles and pure water sachets and also contribute to the missing 2 million school desks.
Every great innovation begins with an idea. To understand how this began, we ask, what inspired the founding of Buy Food with Plastic? And why the decision to bring Buy Food with Plastic to Ghana?
There are, I would say, 3 inspirations. So, one, when I was 21, living in California for half a year, I met a marine biologist. Her name was Rachel, and she asked me if I want to come to an event in a Patagonia store, this clothing brand. And I was like, yeah, sure, what is this about? And she said, the Alison Teal, the activist when it comes to plastic, will hold their presentation. And since I'm a passionate surfer, I feel very close to the environment. So I went there, and when I was 21, my solution to the plastic pollution problem was cleaning up beaches, trying to get the plastic out of the ocean. That was my solution in my eyes, right? So Alison Teal walks in. She didn't even introduce herself, like a blonde woman between 40, 50 years old. She just said the most stupid thing that people can do are beach cleanups and cleaning up the ocean. Wow. I was shocked. I was like, how can you say that? And Allison came up with this example. So imagine you're coming home, right? And there is everywhere water. You completely forgot to turn off the sink. So you're in this situation. What is the first thing you do to solve the problem? What would you do?
To solve the water problem?
Yeah, like you're coming home, you forgot to turn off the sink. There is everywhere water already like this. What is the first step you do to solve the problem?
You stop the water.
Exactly. You turn off the sink, and then you get your buckets, and you start to clean up.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that really opened my eyes. It's so true. Like she made the example, cleaning up the ocean, going there with these huge investments with boats. It's the same if you would come home with a little coffee spoon trying to get all the water out while much more water actually is coming into your apartment. So what I've learned from her is we have to turn off the sink.
Wow.
This is the way how we can really tackle this problem, right? So back then I was still in banking, and I asked myself, or like I was so inspired, and I was like, I have to do something in that field.
Yeah.
But I had no clue what to do. I had no idea. So I said, okay, let's go back to the bank. Let's make as much money as possible. And then once an idea comes, I still have some starting capital. But then like no idea came. And, but the urgency of seeing the world was a very important thing to me. And don't get me wrong, like, I mean, I just grew up with my mom, and financially, it was always challenging.
Yeah.
So I felt like money will make me happy. And I had money, I had my apartment, I had my car, but somehow I felt like there must be more in the world. Like when I went home, I felt like I have everything, but what am I doing for society? And I had no answer.
I like that, yeah.
And the urge, and also like, you know, when I just seen my life passing, going to that office until 65 every day. I mean, what did I see in the world, right?
Yeah.
So I really felt there must be more out there. And when I was 22, I've seen the study program, International Management, where you have to go 1 year abroad.
So you did that?
Yes, so I quit my job, sold my car,
Wow.
gave up my apartment, went into
That was a big decision.
yeah, really big. But
But you knew whatever that you were doing was going to work through.
yeah, 100%. Don't get me wrong, like I really like banking. I learned a lot, like a lot what I've learned I can use it here right now. And like there I was in one department which was called trade finance, and there I've really seen how I love other languages, speaking with the other side of the world, learning how they do things and do business with each other. Like I really enjoyed that so much. So I knew it has to be in an international field.
Okay.
I'm very curious, like I want to know more about the world. So that's why I enjoy my trip here to Ghana. So what happened then when I quit my job, I started to study international management. It's a bachelor's degree, 3 years, and you have to go 1 year abroad. I went to Colombia. In Colombia, in Medellin, the University EAFIT, I've learned Spanish as well. And then first time in my life, I was turning 23. I had 3 months of semester break.
Okay.
So as I've said, I love surfing. So I wanted to go to a
I
place.
see that on your page.
Yeah, live on a humble bungalow and surf every day. And I remember I was in the library looking for a spot, and a student who was studying with me, his name was Jono. He said, Khalil, you have to go to Nicaragua. But to be honest, I didn't really have Nicaragua on my map. And I asked him why. And he said, it's so beautiful, so authentic. The people are amazing. You should really go there. So I checked it up, and it was truly amazing. I went there, and when I went to the surf spots, I've just seen everywhere waste. And I was talking to a guy, his name was Luis. He was just burning his plastic bottles, and I asked him, hey, why do you do that? And he explained to me, nobody comes, nobody picks it up. Some even dig holes, throw it in there, throw it in the environment. So huge problem. And I was just there with my surfboard, so I was walking a lot, maybe 1-2 hours a day, and you start to think maybe I could do something, right? Yeah. And unfortunately, at the same time, civil war escalated, which led to a huge hunger crisis. And for me, like I've never faced something like that, right? And I really wanted to help. And I was like, then I think, I was turning 23, as said, and I tried to look for organizations who I could volunteer for. But the ones I found, they all told me, we evacuated our personnel, there is no option to help at the moment. Okay. So then I was really frustrated. I was like, there's so many rich people, so many rich organizations, why is nobody doing something? Especially, how can you let kids starve? Until I realized I'm actually also somebody, I could also do something. So that situation, like Alice in Till was one of my inspirations, then the situation. And the third one was like,
together.
Yeah, so my dad is Moroccan, and what I can observe, and also with other Moroccan families, probably also with Ghanaians, I don't know, but in Morocco for sure, I can see that, you know, my dad and his brothers, and with also other families, send always every month money, right?
Yeah.
But my family in Morocco didn't evolve that much. They didn't educate themselves more. They didn't start their businesses. They just became also somehow dependent on that money, right? And when I was in Nicaragua, I was like, yeah, if I just give money, if I just give food for free, like somehow we program these people, if there is a crisis, somebody will come and feed me. But that's not the reality. To be honest, like to make it short, like I feel I didn't have this idea. I feel like this idea came from God, from the universe to me. Why not combining these two problems? And I could decide if I want to execute on it or not. And then the idea was born of exchanging plastic for food. And answering your question, why Ghana, or also why India, is we didn't find Ghana, we didn't find India, Ghana found us. So Elena, one of our co-founders, she was here in Ghana for vacation. And back then, our co-founder and country manager, George Kwame Kwanzaa, was the tour guide of Elena.
Okay.
And they were chatting with each other, and Elena was sharing with Kwame what she's doing. And he was like, hey, we have the same challenges in here. We have to do that here as well, because it can really, really help. And from there on, like Kwame just was persistent. He also started to invest his own money, his own time, and he really convinced us that together with him and now his team, we can make a real difference, as you could have seen today.
At the heart of this initiative lies a simple yet profound idea. Buy food with plastic. But how does it all work?
So it's very simple. People can exchange plastic for food, for income, or also for basic needs like shampoo or detergent. In Ghana right now, we exchange plastic for food and income, and our goal is to bring also shampoo, detergent, seeds, for example, and other necessities. There we're growing. And then what are we doing with the plastic? So the plastic, at the moment, we sort it and then mainly sell it to buyers in Accra, and a part of the plastic we can upcycle by ourselves. The goal right now is actually, that's why we're also here, because we're growing that much, is to buy land and build a much bigger facility, which will then be able to also produce, for example, from the sachets, school desks. Because what we've learned is that Ghana is lacking 2 million school desks for children, and that's the goal.
How many desks?
2 million.
Wow, that's huge. And as we speak, Ghana here, do you have any footprint in terms of any physical structure?
Yes, like we're just sitting right now here at Pearl Street in Elmina. This is our so-called gallery. It is our office, but at the same time also our recycling facility. But we've reached out our capacity.
Let's talk about the Ghana team. Who are some of the key members here in Ghana, and how do you work as a global team? Because obviously now you are in India, Ghana, and what's the other place again?
Nicaragua.
Yeah, so how do you work in between these countries, using Ghana as a case study?
Yes. So right now we have our co-founder, George Kwame Kwanzaa, as a country manager. We have Otto Arhin as our deputy country manager.
Yeah,
and we have Felix Mpong, who's doing our accountancy. And then we also have Albert. He's in our recycling specialist and managing the team, plus doing social media. How do we collaborate? So we have monthly calls, and we don't see ourselves as bosses. For example, this company doesn't belong to me personally. It belongs to the entire team. So we believe in sharing. And now what is special is that Frank Saria, our country manager from Nicaragua, he has the longest experience on the field.
Wow.
And we're growing in Switzerland as well in terms of financial donations, which means that I have less time for the team. So now Frank Saria will become our COO, Chief Operations Officer, and manage Nicaragua, Ghana, and India on a weekly basis.
So before you came to Ghana and after this engagement today, how many communities so far on top of the head can you count that the team here in Ghana have visited?
So we're active in 2 communities, Abaye and Jobo, but now with our truck...
All in Elmina?
Sorry?
All these 2 communities, they're in Elmina?
Yes, around Elmina, yeah, exactly. They're like more into the inland, around an hour from here. But now, actually, with our truck, with our impact truck, where we do the buyback, we actually have impact for 395,000 people in the whole Elmina region and around. And what I have to say is the strongest collection team right now that we're having is here in Ghana. With our truck, we're collecting so much. It's really, really good. It's really, really motivating.
In every vision that dares to create change, there are challenges that test its strength. In Ghana, challenges come in many forms. So what are some of the challenges that Buy Food with Plastic Ghana is facing?
I would say like one challenge, but we've tackled that quite well. I would say like in the beginning, it was hard to get honest feedback from the Ghana team. They didn't say that this is wrong or that we could do this and that better. So it was always difficult for us, are we doing the right thing or not right? But through our direct communication, we could really figure that out and solve that. And what was extremely powerful was last year through Ortel Mobile, a German partner that we have, is a telecom company. They made it possible that Albert, Kwame and Otto could come to Switzerland and Germany. And so they could also learn more about our culture, about our work ethic. And that was really, really helpful. Another challenge that we're actually facing here with the team and also in Ghana is that so far we haven't been that successful in fundraising in the country as itself. So this is something we're working on right now to figure out how can we partner up with companies like Belaqua, because we're collecting so much plastic from Belaqua, for example, or other brands, that they support us actually to solve this problem. So this is something that we want to tackle.
Collaboration is the heartbeat of growth. In Ghana, local partnerships hold the key to scaling impact, connecting corporate responsibility with community action. Is there any Ghanaian brand or company that Buy Food with Plastic is looking forward to partner with?
We are looking actually right now into that. I don't want to drop names because we're right now in the phase of selecting the ones we really want to work. But one I could mention is Mitsubishi. So to be frankly honest, actually we wanted to buy a Hilux from Toyota. But unfortunately, the sales team was not really supportive. It was very difficult with them. So what we did then, we got a quote from Mitsubishi and they're very open. They gave us a discount. We had a meeting now with them in Accra. And it was very, very successful with them. They're really open to make a difference with us. And there are also 2 big construction companies that we are already had talks, and we're looking into potential partnerships. But for sure, what I can tell you, like every bottle that we're collecting here from all these brands, we're open to collaborate with every single. Because at the end of the day, we're not blaming, for example, Belacqua that there are everywhere these bottles, but we think we could solve the problem together.
That's what I was about to say. So collaboration, partnership is very essential.
Yes.
So how is a long-term vision for the operations say in Ghana and in Africa? Because I'm sure it's part of your plans, I don't know, maybe to extend operations beyond Ghana.
So for us, what is a major project right now, like we're probably buying around 20 plots, which is a big deal for us. And we're building a facility which is 800 square meters plus a office and training center for 200 square meters. So this is a huge infrastructure project for us. I know, like for others it might be small, but for us it's very big. And the goal with that facility is to become faster, self-sufficient. So we believe social entrepreneurship, of course, has to be fair and social for everybody, has to be sustainable for the environment. But what we also believe, it also has to be financially sustainable. If it is not financially sustainable, it's not sustainable. Because the problem of donations is you can't 100% count on them. And when donors would fall away, we would have a huge problem to finance the salaries of our team, right? And that would be a big, big problem. So that's why the main vision of Biofuel Plastic Ghana is to design a model where we can become self-sufficient. Once we have achieved that, we start to just replicate that model all over the world.
Every community tells its own story. Their voices reflect how deeply this initiative touches daily life. This is more than environmental action. It's social renewal. What feedback has come from the very communities they serve? And what can individuals or communities do to strengthen and sustain this movement?
Yeah, right now, today we've heard it in Jobo. It was so nice to hear from the chiefs that since we're active in Jobo is clean. It's much, much cleaner. And there are less diseases because we've learned, for example, from Mrs. Bosomtwe that mosquitoes love to lay their eggs in bottles and sachets. And now, since there are no bottles anymore there are less mosquitoes in the village and therefore less diseases. And we also cross-checked that with universities, and it's true. And hearing that, but also really hearing that from the locals, it's tremendous. Also hearing from the communities that there is a behavioral change. People don't, or less.
They are learning.
Exactly. They put it on the side because they know they can exchange it with us for food.
Yeah.
And hopefully for more in the future, right? So today being here and hearing that it really works was so motivating. And how can you be part of that? There are several ways. Of course, you can donate on our website, buyfoodwithplastic.org. There you have the possibility to donate straight, just like you go and donate now. You click on Ghana and the money goes directly to Ghana. And how to be active in the organization. What we need at the moment is somebody who is an architect and can draw renders for the facility that we want to build. And engineers who know how to build with material, right? Then also people who know how to fundraise, how to connect us with Belacqua or other companies, for example, to get these partnerships. People with strong networks, but also people who want to see what we do and share that on social media and are vocal about that. The more people know about that, the better. Like, we don't keep anything for us. We're open source. We share all our knowledge. And we want that model gets copied all over the world, because we know we won't be able to go everywhere. But we know as a human race, we will if we work together.
Thank you for your time, my brother.
All
the best.